We just went into the fish shop to pick up some water conditioner, and you know how that goes. I saw this little cichlid sulking in the corner, and when he turned around, I noticed that he only had one good eye. The owner of Fish Planet told me that he'd been passed around 3 or 4 homes over the past year. Green terrors, like this one, are known for their aggression, so he couldn't be kept with other species of fish, but the dodgy eye meant that he was bullied when kept with his own kind. So of course, he was coming home with me, all the way from London to Manchester. You can see that I was quite attached, and on the journey home, I called him Peter. Luckily, I already had a spare tank in mind for this project, but it needed a base. I coated this piece of OSB in 2 layers of diluted PVA glue, then 2 layers of polyurethane, waiting 12 hours between each. We then cut a piece of foam for added stability, and voila. I didn't set out for this video to be an aquascaping tutorial, but I will pass on what I've learnt about expanding foam. Building height with the expanding foam is difficult. It always wants to expand outwards as the weight of the foam depletes the air pockets beneath. So if you want to build height, you need a scaffold first. As you can see, I didn't do that. I sprayed the expanding foam straight onto the glass, which will cause a bunch of issues later in the video. You may be wondering why the plant pots. These are to hold mangroves, freshwater mangroves. And again, if I'd have used a scaffold, I wouldn't have had to have cut away all that foam. That was a lot of damage to my bank account. As well as holding the mangroves, I also wanted the riverbank to include a small cave, which was pretty easy to achieve with this method. I just carved it out. I wanted to cover the foam in a surface that was beneficial to plants, so I took a technique from terrarium building. I combined silicone and coconut coir, and applied this to every inch of visible expanding foam. You have to work super fast and in small amounts before the silicone dries out. On top of the coir, I chose to add a thin layer of garden soil to provide nutrients to the plants, then sand to hold down the soil. I then added 2 sizes of gravel to enhance the shape of the banks, starting with the finer size. I wasn't precise with any of this, and I let the gravity do the work. And this is the final hardscape. I've never done any serious aquascaping before, so I did a fair bit of research on the plants I wanted to add. I tried my very best to stick with species that are native to Ecuador. I enhanced the shape of the riverbanks with longer stem plants and used alternanthera to provide a pop of colour along the riverbed. You'll also see the mangroves, which require a strong full spectrum light to grow successfully. I used the Chihiro C series mini light. At this point in the video, I went on holiday to Vivarium Aquarium Conference in the Netherlands. I borrowed an almost empty CO2 system. However, when I got back, I found that it had run out and we were met with 2 major problems. The expanding foam had somehow still not cured and it had pushed through the seal of my tank. I decided just to monitor that situation, and after 2 weeks, the gap hadn't grown at all, so I thought that it would just be fine. Some plants were doing really well. The Heteranthera was blooming in a lovely backdrop, and the Rotala was pearling. The Sagittaria was coming up in little clumps just as I wanted. But we had a thick layer of biofilm, and algae was taking over every surface. Goodbye, for now. I stocked up the tank with some river shrimp so that Peter would have something to eat when he arrived. In the end, I was super glad that he was a terrible hunter. I grew quite attached to these little guys. At this point in the video, everything went wrong. 1 month prior, the expanding foam had created a hole in the tank seal, and this hole turned into a leak. At the time of recording, it was New Year's Eve, so I didn't want to ruin everyone's night. As well as letting water out, the leak was also letting air in. And what I presume happened is that enough pressure built up below the foam that the entire section that I had sculpted just came up and flipped around. We were only an hour from our New Year's party countdown when this happened, so it was a complete shock to everyone at the party.
I can't believe that.
Just like
Rise and also going on.
To be fair, I thought the glass was collapsing, but then I wondered why water wasn't coming out from underneath it.
I was only scared about getting wet.
I'm scared for poor Peter. Oh my god.
This is all like sculpting that I took weeks to make.
No.
And
As I wrap up this video that sadly ended way too soon, I have a few thank yous to make. Firstly to Thanks for Nothing. They supported and advised me through the entire process of making this video from start to end. And secondly to the people whose New Year's Eve party I ruined. Sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together. I've got some really interesting projects in the works, so if you'd like to see them, please subscribe and stick around. As for Peter, he's currently waiting for Thanks for Nothing to build his next home.